That added layer of flexibility that first pick does bring you.
There's also, for me, the question of what is Guma going to play next? We did see some bans that raised questions. The Kai'Sa ban in game 1 is something that I'm going to keep going back to. And his Jhin performance was absolutely outstanding. And this is a champion that ever since, well, mid-2023, he's just been exceptional and really, you know, it was just calibrating 2022 when they played Yuumi Jhin. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up.
Did you have to bring that up? You didn't have to bring that up.
Well, because after that, it was all smooth sailing. So that Jhin, no surprise, that is really a comp that at any point in the last couple of years, T1s could have played.
Yep.
And if they're in form, it's going to look amazing. Doesn't matter that it's Doran piloting it instead of Zeus. It ends up working out nicely. Also, Doran, that man is the most committed memer that I know. Because dying to Krugs and then winning a team fight immediately after, it's peak Doran.
He also gets to go into the history books alongside the greats such as Dundun, who like wins a 1v2 and then immediately dies to Gromp.
It's peak.
Oh, it is so good. Pantheon going to be taken away here on the blue side. You know that KT are angling for a Taliyah. That's what they want. The Vi is going to be snapped up. So, right now, the biggest priority champions is that Taliyah and, of course, the Azir.
Yeah, especially with the Yone. I'm actually kind of surprised because the Yone ban to me, I guess they banned Taliyah on free because normally there's a few things we can go into Taliyah. The Ahri is a common one.
Oh, well, now you're just... Isn't it checkmate?
Well, because it's Azir or... Well,
yeah, Azir, Taliyah, but then you leave them both up, but Taliyah wins. Yeah. So you have to ban Taliyah here, but then they get a free
Azir,
pick of the Azir. Yeah, okay.
And a lot of the counter picks are already... and I think this is the best out of a bad situation, banning a Trundle instead, because it's been one of our better Trundles, looked great on the champion. And this is the least surprising thing that's happened here today, as Taliyah gets taken by BDD. BDD obviously has been the frontrunner for KT, and getting his pick on arguably the best mid laner in the meta is a big win. There's also a lot of the counter picks, as mentioned, already taken away, unless you want to go deep into the pockets of like a Sylas, which this early on I think is a big risk, because we've seen Ryze into it, already taken away. We've seen Victor into it. This matchup, I don't think is exciting. There's a reason why we didn't see these blind Azirs anymore. It's because of this exact matchup. It's just so hard to find consistent angles if you are the Azir.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why the Azir's win rate has been lower and lower is that's a Graves hover there for Owner. We're going to try not to react to that one too much, but is because a lot of players, BDD is one of them, who has just been picking the Azir first and then getting Taliyah'd, as we do get to set up the wall and then crash the champion into the wall.
Yeah, but if you're a T1 fan, you see Azir into Taliyah and Owner on a tank that isn't Sejuani.
This is Sejuani.
That is Sejuani right there. Sejuani checks. Could be the angle here. Checks is a relatively safe blind. Doran can obviously go for his classic Gragas counter pick that is still open. As instead, maybe... Gonna get this. Well, you can still pick the jungle run free, right? That's perfect. Going to get the Yorick here. And you can see that man looking to bounce back in a big way after that rough game number 1. Yeah, or game number 2, rather. Game number 1 was great.
Yeah, we've seen Yorick be so powerful in more recent patches. I believe got nerfed, actually, coming into this patch. But still, players have been playing it so much as the Sejuani going to be locked in alongside it. Kind of feels weird, right? Because you can imagine that Permafrost synergy alongside a Yorick is going to be there, but Yorick doesn't want you in his lane, so it does feel a little bit strange as a Renekton. A consideration here for Doran. And it looks like so many T1 drafts of the past, right? The Azir in the mid lane, a lot of consistent damage, some more early lane dominance as far as the top lane pick is concerned. Nameplate might be changed, but the vibe is certainly still there. Gumushi Carrier just waiting to try and get some counter pick options if they can find them.
Taliyah's just such a crazy pick into all of these champions.
Yeah, this is the problem. Sometimes you can ignore the problem and it goes away.
Not BDD's Taliyah, yeah.
And sometimes you can't. And he won't go away.
I do think that the cohesion is better on T1, and not just because they picked a bunch of, you know, Shreeman champions. Like, that's fun. That's cute. But mostly because these are a lot of power picks. We know these players are good in these champions. There's, as you already mentioned, the 2v2 synergy in jungle and mid. There is the Renekton, the Azir, which you know, that goes way back. That's that's a classic as well.
A pigeon and a crocodile.
Oh yeah, as we are currently looking at maybe banning away all engager ports that, okay, I was going to say that aren't Nautilus or Leona, and then you just pick the other one that's left. The only downside for Leona is that I do think that the Mercs value becomes kind of crazy here. So you might instead pick an AD carry on 4 and just look to go for good old classic carrier counter pick. Now, Xayah is still open. I'm imagining that's what T1 wants to go towards here. So maybe we see it banned here by KT.
Yeah, that would mean leaving up the Leona, but things like Renata are still there, I guess.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little bit more like pseudo-engage. Is the Caitlyn going to be taken away from Guma? Certainly one of his favorite picks.
It's just Xayah?
Well, I think that's probably what he's going to do.
The only downside of Xayah is that Jinx is still open, and I think this is a pretty good Jinx spot. It's kind of tough for T1 to consistently get backline access.
Let's see what they do decide to go with. Guma could just take the Jinx if he'd like, because then Dr. does have a difficult matchup. I had actually written down the Lucian. This is something that Gumayusi, on his resurgence, found a lot of success on. And that is going to be the lock-in here, unless something changes in the nick of time, but it does not. So not with the same level of range as that Jinx that you were talking about, but it does feel way worse picking Jinx into this, especially with Keria having the counter pick angle. That is still a big grin on Peter's face, which is a little bit frightening.
Makes it hard for KT.
Oh, Samira
Leona.
Is that why?
Well, Brom's out. Like, Brom's out.
No, they're toying with it.
Ezreal Leona is fine as well. I think Leona Ez makes a lot of sense. They pick Leona here and then they're going to contemplate, is what I imagine is happening. Ezreal's the safer pick. Ezreal's a lot of innate safety against the what do you call it? Renekton. You can get away from Azir relatively easily. You really shouldn't be impaled. Yep. It is going to be that. I would have loved the Samira, but we knew it wasn't going to happen. And now, what is the counter pick going to be? Is it going to be Nami or Milio, which obviously pair really well together?
What about Big Bad Brad?
Will be a very carrier thing, but into
the wife steal
into Ezreal, I don't know if you get quite as much value.
Oh no! He's definitely memeing. He's memeing. It's Big Bad Brad. There we go.
So playing very focused on lane, and playing Talia into Bard is actually kind of obnoxious. That is one of the few champions that any champion, and Yorick as well in a side lane, without a dash, it's just
what they can get done. This is going to be a big test for KT to try and bounce back. Oh man, Sajik Indoor Gymnasium erupting here as all the fans cheering on their team. T1, I think, going to need a little bit of extra energy in this game. I don't think they have the same level of checkmate that they had in the first one. The Nocturne really making sure that Dr. was just eliminated before he even really started like plugging in his mouse, which might have been why we had such a long delay before we got into game 2. That might explain something. We couldn't quite figure out how Doran was supposed to play the game. And then we just went in and played it anyway, which felt a little unfair, didn't it? Because he didn't really play the game.
Yeah, post-early game, I don't think a lot of the decisions in that game really mattered. It's just one of those comps, you know?
Yep.
Where once you get ahead, and credit to T1 for getting ahead, but I mean more so if you're in if you're in KT's shoes, you're like, oh, well, whatever. You know, they got ahead early. I think that's the type of loss you can shake off a lot more easily as opposed to some of the losses KT have inflicted on other teams.
All right, well, Peter's going in. Keria's taking a little bit of damage here as Dr. trying to land these Mystic shots. Piercing Light going to connect there very nicely by Gumayusi. I basically judge how Lucian is played by how many of the Qs you weave through minions and hit your opponent. That was how I used to cast Uzi playing this champion, where if you remember, when Uzi was winning, he wasn't allowed to play that champion. When he was losing, he wasn't allowed to play that champion. As we've got another engage as level 2s have been hit across the board. Dr. still trying to fight here as Keria with the meep slap trying to get the work done as now Peter possibly overextended the flash forward. The flash in response from Peter. Oh! And first blood for Dr. It will be a 1-for-1 as Gumayushi's able to lock that one down, and he does have the advantage in health, but still, that was a sick play.
I think that's a win for T1. As a BDD, yeah, this is not a fun matchup. This won't be a fun matchup. I am still unsure why we picked Azir here.
Yeah.
I think that's favorable slightly for T1, even though First Blood goes to KT, because the wave state is really rough. Guma gets to keep control of the wave, and Owner's pathing bot. So Guma can just stay in this wave with
Why is
impunity. Yeah, because Doran has prio top, so he's just like, I know that... I think they did track where Cuz was early, because Doran put down the ward, right? So he can just go and invade and delay.
Yep.
So that his bot lane gets to push their lead a little further. The upside for Dokdam is that he did go and get an early back, and he has already started stacking his tier. So that's something that he will be happy about.
Yeah, managed to get that first blood, which does mean that that tier gets to stack up. Doesn't give you any battle stats, though, as another seismic shove going to connect. Wow, BDD should play this Talia more often. He's really good at it. Teehee?
It's a very mischievous Teehee, Atlas.
Sometimes you just need to find the moment for a mischievous
sums.
team. Okay, there's a magical journey for the carrier. Peter gonna get thrown back towards the enemy team, but yeah, he's a Leona, so he's gonna be okay. Dokdam isn't okay. He's gonna spend most of his time in the base as BDD had to flash away from Faker. What happened in mid? I'm never going to Teehee ever again. Teehees are just
This is really all your fault, Atlas.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear to everyone.
Wait, are you saying that perhaps I cast a curse?
No, I'm memeing.
Oh. I thought you were just going to say that cast curses are real.
Oh, you know I never will do that.
But I mean, they are.
Well, they're not.
Oh.
But we can say they are, you know, if we all believe it, maybe it is.
It does give us a bit more power than we deserve.
Have you heard about manifesting?
Oh god, yes I have. BDD is manifesting a seismic shove in the mid lane.
He doesn't have damage is the problem. You know, he's sitting on only a tier and boots, so Faker not really impressed by what is happening. Trades are still okay, but BDD, as long as it doesn't trade health, because Faker will be able to TP.
Oh, here's the replay. And so the seismic shove missed.
Yeah, it's the sidestep on the seismic shove. And the fact that BDD doesn't have mana, and Faker obviously with the shield, and just stacking the lethal tempo. Enough damage available to bully this Talia, and that's a big win. Getting that early flash out of BDD means that any Owner gank is going to be way more potent. Same for Keria. And with that bot lane gank that Owner found, Dokdam now actually behind in this 2v2.
Yep, you've got now Perfect with his ghoulies towards this top side, battling the two-man of Gumayusi and Keria, who've once again gone for that lane swap. Peter turns up. I was actually a little bit worried for Perfect just then, but did of course have his Leona on the way. Cuz also in the wings.
They don't have damage is the issue here. We do see Ping go down, and we see the immediate startup for Owner here. Setting up for that dragon.
Yeah, this is a lot of control for T1 in this early game. And they are making this gold lead go up. First mountain drake going to be important as well. Just a standalone mountain, just giving you those extra stats. It's going to be feeling pretty nice. As Faker just going to help out. And Doran is going to be here alongside as well. So a little bit of a reset for Gumayusi and Keria. Just took a wave and are just going to head back again as the dragon is going to be taken. So there it is. Perfect going to have to be a little careful, knowing that there are a few people on this bottom side as the teleport comes in.
Keria.
Yep, slice and dice. And Owner has come on over with that boulder in hand. As Perfect, he's running the wrong way. He is definitely dead. It's just how much more work can he get done as he gets slammed into the wall. And it's even Gumayusi that's able to help pick up this kill. Couldn't have been worse here for the KT top laner.
That is painful. There's no cross-map trade available. We're seeing that Perfect gets focused again. As T1 seems to have identified a weak spot in the armor of KT. And the one consistent win con that KT had, which was BDD, after that play from Faker, just haven't been able to find the same impact. What are they going to do? Try to dive a Renekton?
Yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds a little bit worrying.
Like they might try. I don't think it'll work, though, because Owner's already on the wave.
Well, Dokdam is just picking up this wave. Cuz moving in. They're just looking to zone Doran away from the experience.
But there's
nothing
no one
bottom
answering.
Lane.
And like BDD is roaming up KT.
This feels like a desperate all-in. Yeah. Okay, let's see whether they can actually make something happen. Cuz clearing out the very dangerous Krugs.
Yeah, this is... So no one's answering bot wave. So T1 is just getting ahead. Like, I know that no one's answering top wave either, but mid is also getting pushed in.
Yeah, there was no one mid.
So now T1 is going to get a plate. Obviously, the bot side situation isn't great. And T1, unlike KT, have not been sharing experience. And Doran just gets back. Guma further accelerated.
Yeah,
and all of these things.
Ooh. He's level 6, never mind. Is okay, Ona coming in, driving forward. The Arcane Shift is fantastic. That's a decent True Shot barrage as well, but now Peter is looking worse for wear. Winter's Wrath, not going to quite get too much done, as here is Faker! But he gets stunned up immediately! That was fantastically played, and they take down the Azir. They have to trade Peter for it, but man, that could have been so much worse for KT, because read it like a book, as Doran, with that Dominus now proc, Docton playing out of his mind, but he will get cosmically bound. And the magical journey will get T1 to safety. That's going to save it for the moment, and Faker, after that play, picks up an immediate Merc Shreds.
Yeah, Cuz did kind of dunk in them there. That was, that could have been a game-losing situation for KT. If this skirmish goes all right, I think that might just be it. So we see here T1, they're a member up, they feel confident going for this play. Peter gets taken low, but they don't have very tanky, able to flash out as Doran.
Oh dear. Yeah, Seismic Shove going to throw the Renekton around here. As Peter should be able to hold him in position. And yep, they want to get the kill over to BDD. They do so successfully. And KT well and truly back on the horse.
And these are big moments, Atlas, because it felt like
I'm okay with being Atlas, it's fine.
Well, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I should call you by your name.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise I'm being rude.
I thought I got another name. That's cool.
I don't know.
It's okay to have a few more. That could be Atlas. What is an Atlas? If you could define... Okay, never mind. You had a point. You're in the middle of a point.
No, I don't want to make my point anymore. Because now we're in this whole naming situation.
There's no need to be stubborn, Chronicler.
I would never. So, want to highlight that it's a big moment for KT, because I do think against the T1 composition, if they start getting ahead, you have a decent amount of people that can face check for KT, but you are, again, relatively short range. So if you're just trying to walk in, you're walking the Bard bindings. There's a Skarner, but you're not quite sure why. And there's an Azir that sets up his soldiers. Retaking control can be very tough unless you fully commit to an engage. So big moment there. And it all starts with Cuz finding that ultimate, and then the subsequent plays from KT.
Finding the angles as Peter walking over a ward. Carrier in position, will be able to cosmically bind the Leona. And I know how much Peter cares about that. It's to the tune of about 0. Kind of like the amount of damage that he takes from a Bard. So nothing really going to happen there. Carrier getting a bunch more information though.
And I think all 3 games have gone this way. Early on, T1's laning, barring Faker obviously doing a lot better in this one, but in most of the first 2 games, and even in this one early on, I think T1 has been better with where they move on the map, right? Getting in the right place at the right time, cross-map plays. But the team fighting in game 1 was more than enough from KT. Partially the draft, partially just the execution. Cuz in particular, as well as Peter, I think, having some highlight performances there. And game number 2, T1 snowballed the game to the point where KT didn't get to play anymore. Think we're really on that track right now, and T1's comp can still team fight. Skarner comps, you're never really going to count them out.
There's a flash in. It's a decent buffer as the Tempered Fate goes down. Ona looks for the crash onto Peter, and doesn't get the stun as the Exhaust doing so much work onto Cuz, but both junglers getting taken down so low. Gumayushi having to go so far forward as they do both fall, and the wall goes down. The flashes, they come in, and the Seismic Shove just barely missing onto Carrier, and Faker decides, nah man, I ain't going in on that one. That was a very cute fake out, as my goodness, that could have been a disaster. Seismic Shove this time, he's going to connect, and Peter is there to follow up BDD with a big old rock right on top of the pigeon, and he goes down.
Just leave!
Yeah.
You could have just left!
I wasn't ready to play-by-play because I thought it was over, Chronicler.
Also, yeah, I'm a bit baffled. So let's take another look here. This play is good, but this is a Sejuani. Cuz gets the buffer, then kind of Zonya's the culling in a way. And then it's still Sejuani with Aftershock and a clip, so he ends up going down, but Kuma's in an awkward spot. BDD comes in, this out from Faker. Wonderful! Well done! Then Carrier gets the, even though he gets Seismic Shove, gets the connection first, and then he, just leave. Just leave. Just Why are we taking the greedy path back?
Yeah.
And the BDD reads him like a book, gets the setup, but that was an unforced error. That kill didn't have to go over. And we are back in the action, Atlas.
Let's do it again, baby! As the Ocean Drake down to 50%, Cuz in position. This is likely to be another 50-50, unless it's not. Owner is holding them in position. Well, not a whole lot happens. He does manage to lock down the Dragon, and they kill BDD. True Shot Barrage doing so much work, though, as it's a Cloud Soul. That's really cool. Still, it's Doctom with the kill. Cuz still wanting to find more. Has T1 in an awkward spot on the map. Cuz able to create the distance. A 3 versus 3 as the flash forward comes in from Doran. And out goes Perfect. He has to flash, though, and Doran decides, all right, I guess I'll just kill your turret.
Big win for Doran. And T1, get the Dragon. That's the big thing. Cloud Soul.
Oh, dear. Doran is underneath the turret. He just gets obliterated. Yeah, Perfect. Not a whole lot he can do about that one.
Yeah, that's the only appropriate response. Perfect thinking that the heal was going to be enough. Right? Yorick has so much build and sustain to his kit, but Doran knows his limits, knows his damage output. As we take a look here, this is a great turn from T1. Just straight onto BDD, who doesn't have his flash, and Owner ends up going down. That flash was very tragic. Sorry, Owner. Oh,
we are going in once again. Owner is in a lot of trouble. Sorry, Owner continues here as he will go down. Good little pick there for KT. Not a whole lot to get on the map right now.
Sometimes I'm worried, you know, that you kind of start to lose yourself in the series. Yeah. And then you see the players are like, you know, it's not just casters. It happens to players as well. Because a lot of unforced errors now coming through both sides, really. Guma will be able to pick up the first blood on the turret here. I don't think a punish is imminent. That's a level 10 and very fed Guma Yushi here. I say very fed. Doctom has also been able to pick up a lot of gold, but both of them are 3-0, so
yeah, they're looking
not
pretty
too bad. What happened here? Okay, so Faker forces, and then Owner tries to follow up, and Huz. So it's really Owner dying for Faker's play.
Yeah, I feel like the Emperor's Divide went in an odd direction for what they wanted to achieve there.
Yeah, this here hasn't really been hitting the mark for me, Atlas. It's not been great. What has been is this game, because you know we can be like, oh man, this is a clean. Guys, it's telecom. We'll just take what you get.
No, exactly.
Yeah, we just accept it for what it is.
What we get in a telecom war is just what it is. You can't say whether it's good, whether it's bad. It just is. The telecom war will dictate itself.
It exists.
As all right, Seismic Shove going to collect. Carrier here momentarily. The Impale only onto Cuz, and he's okay with that as Faker goes in, but he doesn't find the angle for the Emperor's Divide because he doesn't have it yet. Seismic Shove connects, and Faker and Owner both go down. Doctom doing so much damage as Doran is killing Perfect again in this bottom lane. Yeah, the Crocodile is going to become a huge problem, but KT do win a team fight. We can celebrate both, I guess, individually.
Faker, what was that? How are we in the game?
Oh no, that was such a the juxtaposition.
I had to.
Oh man, Chronic Claw.
Doran's Renekton, baby. That's
how we save it.
That's how we're saving it. As this 1-2 of Sejuani and Leona is so insanely strong. So much damage goes through. BDD, he does flash, which in hindsight he didn't have to, but it puts Faker in such an awkward position. And with Carry already low, Guma obviously doesn't want to go down. That makes way more sense.
Yes.
So Perfect goes in to cancel the TP, but he's in a wave, so...
Yeah, he just dies.
You know what?
Actually, kind of in the context of that being a part of all of the other plays.
I think that's worth. Like, I know it feels bad for Perfect, and as you say, the Crocodile, Apex Predator, unchanged for millions of years. That's going to be a problem that KT will have to deal with. But it does mean that they get the Herald and they win the topside fight. Probably for the state of the game, still decent for KT. For Perfect's lane, it's obviously a complete disaster.
It is. And the Yorick does want to be in a better position than this. That's just kind of how it goes. But Doran having a great time in this early game. Peter collecting some petals for his team.
I keep going back to Talia, though, because so much of T1's current win conditions are short-range carries that need to dash.
Yeah.
And they're playing into Taliyah, they're playing into Leona, and they're playing into Kuz's Sejuani.
And we haven't really addressed it quite as much, but Doctom is 4-0-3 on the Ezreal. He's having a very good time. As Peter, sometimes you want a Hex Flash. And by sometimes, I mean, I'm pretty sure all of our supports always want a Hex Flash. And they are going to be able to do that, as now the Maiden going a bit aggressive here towards Faker. As Ona coming down, looking for the angle. Seismic Shove going to connect onto Carrier, but not too much else going to come of it. Control Ward going over the ward.
BDT doesn't have Leandris yet, so he doesn't have that much damage. Only sitting on the Seraphs right now. Cuz is 105 heart steals. That man is stacking, Atlas.
He certainly be stacking. You are 100% correct.
Double that of Owner. That's the only way we measure jungle performance.
Oh my goodness. Twice the jungler of it in this game. That is ridiculous. As save the Maiden, save the Maiden, save the Maiden, save the Maiden. He didn't save the Maiden.
It's not fair. Maiden has a health bar and
Sand
it's the deep flanking Doran. Or is it Doran dying? We don't know.
We're not sure, but he's near a Krug camp, and we know that that has been a problematic position for him. However, Owner is over here. Can they actually get in and save their Crocodiles? The Solar Flare comes through. Oh, the ulti goes to Narnia from Kuz, and there's the Impale. He finds the backline, he finds BDD. Doctom turns up, but he's way too late, and the 10-foot Fate will catch him. He does flash himself out of the way, and Doctom, at least for now, is going to be able to stand his ground, and in fact, he's doing a lot of damage back, but they've lost their mid laner, they've lost their support, and T1 fighting back so well in this mid game.
So Kuz is still alive, but I don't think he can get anywhere near this. It's a Doran carry performance, baby!
It absolutely is, and this is what happens. It's on the eve of the final match. In these situations that Doran performs the best. And he wants that rematch against Zeus. He absolutely does.
If Kuz is there, I think they have the burst to take him down, but they just don't. Peter ends up getting taken. And Owner, I'm sorry about the joke, Owner. I didn't mean it. I was joking about the hard steel stacks. Finds the flash and the ult.
The tempered fade as well from Carrier. Waits for the opportune moment. That's all right. It ain't over yet, but it is looking better here for T1.
It's a lot of sums. It's soul point secured, Atlas.
Yeah, that's the big deal. And it's Cloud Soul as well, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very good soul. No bias.
I think we should say that after every statement, just to be very clear.
You could just say no bias all the time. Maybe we can just like make a disclaimer at the beginning and say, by the way, there's no bias.
Or like the legal disclaimer where you just have like a million statements.
Yeah. We'll just rush through the whole thing.
I'd be happy to write that. You know how many in-jokes we can get into that?
We could get a lot.
There's years of LCK. This is kind of cool.
I reckon
I like this.
We'll get to work on that one maybe between today and tomorrow, depending on who we're preparing for. As Doctom and Gumushi
like that.
both performing very well.
It's not enough time.
What do you mean?
To write a whole legal disclaimer?
I believe in you, Chronicler.
Well, you should.
Okay. T1 now with the largest advantage that we've seen so far this game. But it's still 9-9 in kills. They have
minor.
Soul Point. They have Feats of Strength. Arakan's still up and available. That is chilling there towards the bottom side. T1 maybe with an opportunity to try and take it, but we've seen Arakan's be hit or miss when it comes to finding some angles.
I don't think you want to do that against Taliyah and Ezreal. They get so much free damage off. Unless you look for an aggressive re-engage. But right now, I think T1 just chill because you need Starex on Doran. Because if you think Doran was hard to kill before, and I think he has it on this base. Playing around the Crocodile, I think, is the angle here for T1. There it is.
Third item is now done for Gumushi at the same time, so that's some big item spikes coming in tandem.
Oh yeah, I think T1 are going to pull the trigger here. I wouldn't be surprised. After the clear, because Owner obviously needs to clear his top side, Doran needs to push out the wave, but I wouldn't be shocked if T1 just set up and attempt to fight. They have their engage is kind of weird, right? Because obviously Faker can go in, you have the Bardot, and then you have the Skarner, so it's decent.
Doctom going aggressive. Is Peter able to soak the culling very comfortably?
It's a good trade of health, but there's no dragon, so...
Yeah, not having to worry about it for the next 2 minutes' time, so possibly a little bit of an overreaction. Still, getting the ultimate just for a few Mystic shots landing. Doctom playing up in this lane.
Arakan, though, that's what KT is playing for, or at least positioning and some vision control around that area. Don't want to let T1 just set up for free.
True Shot Barrage, just clear out this wave. And yeah, Perfect is not allowed to lane alongside Doran. You can see there in the minimap, Renekton is not somewhere that the Yorick can be. That's just how this game is going to go, at least for the next little while. He has caught back up when it comes to farm, but it's that 0-3 that we're seeing that is making things very, very difficult for this Yorick in this lane. 2,000 gold the lead for the Crocodile.
It's almost movie-esque, right? Yorick is just a hard-working member of Summoner's Rift trying to live his life, but he keeps getting bothered by a pesky crocodile. It's rude.
He just wants to dig holes, man.
Yeah.
He just wants to shovel about.
Yorick, maybe not the best character because he, his whole backstory is kind of dark.
He is somewhat of an Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Faker's still hanging around this Otacon, but just clearing out waves. We haven't started anything just yet. And it does feel like the game is kind of stalled out. But the problem is, T1 are in such a good spot. With the fact that they take control of side lanes with this Yorick actually on the map is just not what KT wants. That was going to be their point of power. Winning sides with the Yorick was how this was kind of built. And that is not something that has eventuated.
So there aren't that many mercs on the side of T1 though. So there is obviously, like Doran, I don't think you can turn onto. I think he's just too beefy. But if you can actually get on top of Guma, might be an angle. The fact that there's actually, I take it back. I'm looking at McKill's cleanse and flash available. So
yeah, there's a few things.
Target selection is really hard for KT. Maybe you're just relying on the poke of this Celia as well as this Ezreal.
They do have a lot, like, if they get the chain CC down, then, someone is going to die, is how it's going to go. Maybe. Teleport in from Doran.
Look, I guess they're taking down Owner's shield. That's nice. He went to pistol as well.
Yeah.
More damage for that almost level 16 Renekton.
The Dominus is really going to be cutting through them.
I'm joking.
Yeah. All right, I was looking for a bit of an angle here as the Seismic Shove does pull him back. That is a lot of damage. Tempered Fate holds him in position, though. It kind of nullifies the Impale at the same time, and there's a kill for the Yorick. The Emperor's Divide connects onto 3, but Faker is still taking so much damage, and Doctor is untouched. True Shot Barrage not quite doing enough, and Doran gets on top of the Ezreal. No flash left. He's Cullen, the Meek, and that is exactly what KT are in the eyes of this Crocodile. T1 crushed the fight off the back of Doran. And he's underneath the turret yet again. Kumiushi possibly in a little bit of trouble as the turret, he's tanking it, so he's just dead. Now Doran having to run away, and Perfect is still alive. Cuz is now able to try and help him in this 1v1 as the Ghoulie Wall goes up, and the Crocodile might go down.
What are we doing?
I have no idea. I think they're all dead.
That was a stalemate! It's a free-for-free trade. You don't have Dragon, or sorry, you don't have your jungler, but KT can't do Dragon because Renekton and oh my god.
That was a lot of money.
That's denial at the very least on the soul.
Wait. Perfect was 0-3-0.
Yep.
He's now 3-3-2.
Yeah, how did we discount the team fighting Yorick, Atlas? That's on us.
Oh, because he was side laning. That's not what a Yorick's supposed to do. He's supposed to wait for the team fights. Oh, curses. That was so silly of me.
The decision-making by T1 is really... Because I think the execution in the fights, great salvage of the situation on Owner here, right? They set up, but look how long it takes for Doran to join. Still no. Imagine if he's here. This fight is just donezo. But instead, Guma, even though he doesn't get taken low, Peter sees him for so long. I guess they just get Nash, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah. I guess that's what happens.
That's a T1 Nash. Sorry, my bad, T1. All calculated.
Yeah. So they
didn't even get
distract KT with a team fight and a dragon. And so
they lull them to a false sense of security. This is a telecom war. That's what this is.
And that was a T1 Baron, if ever we've seen one.
Wait, so now they can't really do Otacon anymore.
They're
going to try.
KT, I think, are going to try and keep them down here because it means that the Baron isn't being utilized. still, T1 able to collapse.
They got to peel off or fight a good engage. He was used there by Carrier.
I think fighting away from this Crocodile is going to be an important thing, but Owner is going to come over and make it a 50-50. Doran taking a bit of poke damage as now Peter looking to go in the magical journey to try and bring them away as Docton doesn't find any joy with that True Shot barrage, but he's taking so much damage here off to the side as it's Kaza locks this one down. Doran trying to get himself out of there as Docton is moving forward. Carrier looking for an angle. And the Weaver's Wall going to lock him. Oh no, he's in a little baby cage, but he now turns BDD Golden, and Owner is looking to get over the wall. They find BDD and lock him down. I don't know how that was orchestrated, but it worked out beautifully there for T1 as now Kuz walking into 4 people, but he gets towards his inner turret.
Can they leave? I'm not sure.
I don't know about this one. Yeah, Docton doing so much damage. Every Mystic Shot is connecting because every point on the map is a T1 player for him to hit, but still, Gumayusi getting a lot of damage. And now it is just Peter that goes down. KT trying to get out of here, and they should be able to do so. This is an absolute mess, Chronicler.
Yeah, I got nothing, Atlas. I was waiting for you to say take it away, so I got an extra half a second to think.
I figured you'd get it, you know, because you needed to take it away.
Okay. So let's break that down, because this series is very rapidly accelerating and decelerating in a way.
Oh my god, so he gets the cosmic binding into the ult.
Yes. Mid-jump.
And he actually just called everything.
Yeah, there's a reason this man has a world skin on Bard.
Yeah.
As sets up that play. And then here, KG, like, they need to get people out. So they kind of are forced into this fight. But I think that they could have backed up a little bit earlier. Instead, they stick around. Faker obviously was threatening from the back, so they kind of pushed into the funnel. All said and done, it's a lead for T1, about a 3.5k gold lead. They're still sitting on Soul Point. They're probably favored, but also these fights have been so chaotic. If T1 didn't make that mid play, I'm like, this game should be done from here. I actually, but the decision making still has me question some of what T1 is doing. And this lead is good, but it's not enough.
Not quite. I mean, the lead is entirely the Rebel Baron power play that we saw off that last Baron. It has just dissipated. So that Baron sneak, incredibly important here for T1. As Kuz's health bar is just massive. 3 items now completed for the Sejuani. Getting close on the side of Owner as well. That lead is still there for Kuz in this game.
Yeah, that's actually, now that I look at it, the gold is where you want it for T1 and not for KT. Because the most gold lead being on Sejuani,
yeah,
that's not
and the 4,
best.
1, and 6 Ezreal is 2.5k behind. Gumayusi has made so much money in this game. The Infinity Edge is now done. His 4 items are perfect.
Outside of that one play where he just dashed into the turret and died, been having a great game thus far.
Oh yeah.
As long as he doesn't dash into a Talia E, should be able to maintain this level of threat as T1. They have control of the river, and this is Soul Point for them. Now, summoners are available across the board, except Owner's Flash.
Let's see what T1 can do.
Yeah, oh, there's I was about to say Jack shows. Is it going to be done? It is. 3 items for almost everyone.
The team fighting Yorick is ready to play.
Carrier!
Seismic Shove going to connect. They're looking for the chain CC. Onto the body. Flashes, but he's not going to get away. And that is another kill going over to Doctom.
Oh, Croc! Did they see him? He showed up.
The angle, and now Doctom having to deal with this prehistoric monster. Kuz looking for the re-engage, but he doesn't find the ulti. And it's a double for Guma. Doran now is a freight train, and T1. They launch their way forward. The Undertaker is going to have to be used for his own teammates. And perfect, yeah, he's got a little cute gully wall, but he's going to lose his mate, and he has no right fighting for this dragon that T1 are able to take down.
Soul's going to be taken now for T1. Perfect. All he can do is ward off a mid lane push. As we take a look, Carry ends up going down, but it's the Crocodile that is the difference maker. Because this fight starts off pretty good, but you can see some of the hesitation. He showed up for a second, but they don't clock him. And they're Doran goes and the turn doesn't work. Peter's left alone and Perfect is stuck on the wrong side of a wall. And then Faker cements the fight that was set up by his teammates, and yeah, you get Keria. You're not going to call Worth on that.
Keria is basically he's just typing Worth in chat. He says, good job, everyone. And they go about their business. Yeah, he might have died, but he is definitely the orchestrator for so many of these engages for T1. That gets them the soul. And that may have been the back-breaking play in this game. And I have to say, kudos to Faker, man. This guy, they had that horrible play in the river here, just above, as we can see right now. And from then on, has been able to navigate around BDD in every single one of these fights. And he's now, 2-4-7, but he has a 2.2k gold advantage. He's shut out his opponent, and he's always been able to get the DPS in these fights.
Yeah, this Celia not quite having the impacts. Peter goes in.
Okay, Emperor's Divide gonna throw him out. Another Glacial Prison gonna do nothing as Peter's life just goes away. That is an optimistic, magical journey, but when they're this far ahead, you may as well go for it. The culling is gonna cut down Docked Arm, and KT, that play looked like they just wanted to head towards the next game.
And they will! No shot that KT's able to hold on here. I was about to start making jokes about Elder Flips, Atlas.
Yeah, we don't need to, because we might be talking about an Elder Flip in a final game of this series if T1 are continuing to play like this. It's looking a little bit too one-y, but still, these Nexus turrets next to go down. They're going to take down Cuz before they end this game, as there is the ace. And it's Gumayushi that locks it up 13-1-6. A renaissance for the 80 carry for T1 as this Nexus is going to go down. And match point for T1.